Well, the source of energy in the carbon dioxide is an amazingly much-teased reaction, exogonic, which is to say they release the energy, and if you have hydrogen and the CO2, then you put them together and the Vulcan 2, warm it up to say 50 degrees centigrade, and put in a couple of cats and shake it up, then nothing's gonna happen. But thermodynamic me, that is less stable. Two gases, CO2 is less stable than cells. What should happen is you get tells coming at you. Why doesn't that happen? Because it's just a kinetic barrier. That's the best. That's why you need the spark. And the following is without eukaryotes arising, your planet could be full of bacteria and nothing else. We'll get to that. That's kind of a brilliant invention, and there are a few brilliant ones along the way. And what is life? If you're to show up on Earth with a take on the time machine, and you say, asking yourself the question, is this the stepping stone? As you step along, when you see the early bacteria in their natural habitat, you know that that's the light is really important as a question that you could other planet look for life. And what is the framework of Talila Doom and the rock? And the bacteria, of course. The question's kind of both impossible to answer, trivial at the same time. And I don't like to answer them because there's, I don't think, one answer, and I'm trying to commit to the prankster role of that front. There are at least 50 definitions in the juggling of the gibberish, knocking off this thing, off of the top of the head. I mean, there's a freak out there. Not one, many. There are people using NASA working definitions about laugh, which more or less says that the endless system is capable of self-sustaining systems, capable of evolution or something along those lines. And I immediately have a problem with the word self-sustaining because it's sustained body environment. And yeah, I know what I'm getting there here. I know I pick up on all of that. And it's always like the same. By that definition, a rabbit is not alive, only a pair of lab, which is sink a rabbit, think and coping with himself. All kinds of pedantics. Silly but also important objections to any hypothesis. The real question is, what is? We can argue all day, all night, all day, all night. Is there a virus alive or not? And it depends on the counter. Not agreeing, not agreeable. What about the jumping gene? What about the simple complex that it's capable of? What is it? Conversing with the environment itself, with a copy of itself. And I ask again, all those questions and the prescriptions to laugh. It's paid by the stable, parasitize the environment, and all these plants and animals and bacteria and viruses are making a leap, relatively exact biological replica of themselves, informationally, exact copy of themselves. And it doesn't have to be a copy that itself is just in creating. That's interesting. Like, the way of the evolution is an evolution. It's extremely powerful. And Vaporeon, Leafeon, and sometimes messed up as an Umbreon. Seems to work really well, and it's possible to mess up big time. Mess a big time. A mass. It's called hopeful monstering. The Loch Ness hopeful. Prince Bully Cannon. Tarzan. And I say this is a dupe. Really re-emerging, lazy and with swag. My Follett. Tiffles. Interviewing. That's a man in Austin. That's a man in Toronto. And that's fantastic. You could come up with all of this on the spot. And that's the only do if I might have a community that keep the apps absolutely squeaky clean. And Michael and Nick, these are their souls, of course, and I'm a huge fan of Doors. The Doors. And those recycled. The greats. Doing the amazing work, basically, about the way in which the electrical fields control development. And he's done some work with preliminary worms, where they'll go down the wormhole and come out the other way, the other side. It's a new red with a head that developed the pan. And you saw a swan like performance. It changes the electrical circuitry just a little bit. You can come up with a conditional that's similar to those diverging. That could be a hand witch that you've never seen before with head. Now that's really, really informative. Kind of leaping into a different direction. And the only question for natural selection is, does it work? Does it change itself? Is it changing? And is it feasible for the small ones to dream?